Hello. So welcome. It's Monday. It's the morning, or it might be the afternoon or the evening if you're watching this. And that means it's time for another Monday Mystery Meeting. And joining us today on the Monday Mystery Meeting, as you can see, is Rachel Hewlett. Hello, Rachel.
Hi.
Hello. So, people from Riverside, you might recognise Rachel. You might not. People who aren't from Riverside, that's Rachel. So Rachel, why don't you tell us a bit about yourself and about who you are?
Yeah, hi. I am Rachel, as Steve has said. I am married to James. We have two girls who are Abigail's 5, Bethany's 2. We've lived up here in Kidderminster for about 4 years now. I've been coming to Riverside kind of since a few months after we moved up here. Which we love, being part of the community and being part of Riverside. And yeah, I work for a charity that's based in Harrow, where we used to live. So I work from home anyway, before all of this started. And but I'm just as their fundraiser now. So I write their funding applications basically. So yeah, although my title is kind of fundraiser, it's more bid writer than anything else. But yeah, so I do that from home when I'm not looking after the girls.
Wow.
And,
Wow. So almost you're there, you work from home anyway. So
yeah.
A lot of people, they couldn't go to work, as it were. What happened for you then? In one respect, nothing changed, but surely a lot changed because your working environments, as it were, became very, very different.
Yeah. Well, the main difference was just that normally when I'm working from home, we have childcare, and that was taken away, obviously. So that was the biggest difference, really, and that just trying to fit it all in around the girls, and because they're quite young, they're not an age where they look after themselves. Or
yeah, you can't say go to your room and play.
No, it just doesn't work. It doesn't work. So it's not really practical to work with them around that much. So I tried to avoid doing that as much as I could. But that meant that James, he still went to work for most of lockdown. He was at home, working at home for maybe 3 weeks, but other than that, he was in the office. So he'd kind of go to work every morning about 7, try to get home about 4. And then as soon as he came in the door, I'd go upstairs and try and do a couple of hours while he had the pleasure of cooking dinner and having screaming girls because they're tired by that time.
Is he a good cook?
Yeah, oh, he's much better than me. He's much better than me, so it's no problem. I didn't mind that. But I just felt a bit guilty that he came in and had to do that every day. And while I was sitting upstairs trying to get some work done, which was also a challenge then because it was not a great time of day. I work best in the mornings, and it wasn't great, but it was what we had to do. By the time they were in bed, I was so tired. I just couldn't get anything done.
Wow.
So that was like the time slot, really. So rather than, I guess what changed was that normally I have like 2 days a week that I work, whereas it then became I was working on every day, just less hours.
Every day, but it was almost. But it was not the best version of your work. That is not the best version of yourself at work and all of that. Why?
No, it was a challenge, but it was the way we did it. But
so you had to learn not just you, but you and James and the girls all had to learn a whole new rhythm of life, as it were.
Yeah.
Which obviously, you said obviously that was a struggle for you because your work hours became your least effective part of the day. Yeah. How did the girls cope with the change of rhythm of life?
Oh, I think they really liked it. Yeah. I think they really liked being at home, being with each other. I think for them, I think it was really quite positive. I think Bethany really benefited from having Abigail around all the time because she's normally at school. And Abby, I think she's always liked being at home and being with us. So I think she really enjoyed just that, having time together. And I think in some ways I found it quite freeing in terms of, because we couldn't be going out and doing loads of stuff. And there wasn't, in that time that I was with them, Yeah. That I found that quite freeing in terms of playing with them and doing activities, and that was a real positive for us. And I think there was a lot of growth in that, but I think also I found the pressure of homeschooling and that kind of the flip side quite a challenge as well. So I think that was the harder bit. I think Abby was quite happy to be at home, be with us, but she just wanted to play and to have fun and play hide and seek and tag. There's only so much hide and seek and tag you can play in our little house and garden. Like, it's not that big. Every day, she's like, can we play hide and seek? I'm like, oh yeah, okay.
Wow. So you'd play hide and seek, you'd play tag. Baking, I'm assuming, was involved?
Yeah, we did a bit of baking. We did a little bit of I was trying to find like phonics games and stuff. She was only in reception, so it wasn't like massively in-depth stuff, but trying to find stuff in to draw in some of the learning that we could kind of do together.
Yeah.
We watched a chunk of TV. We, did some singing and dancing and just played with their toys. And yeah, the days I was organised, which were a few, there wasn't many, but we had some theme days where we just did loads of activities. They were always about animals. She always wanted like a snake day or a crocodile day or this kind of thing. So we did a few, but minimal, not many of those. That wasn't the norm.
So being Rach, the homeschool teacher, that was a lot more difficult for you stepping into that.
I think what I found difficult was the feeling of responsibility, that it was all on me, that all of a sudden I was her teacher. There was no one else teaching her stuff, that it was me, and I kind of wasn't prepared for that. And whilst it's not difficult stuff she was trying to learn, like in terms of teaching, but that change in relationship a bit, which we kind of don't normally have. Like, she didn't want to do a lot of the stuff, so it's finding the balance between pushing and trying to make sure she does some stuff, but also not having a battle all the time.
Yeah, because there's no point. You're still her mum. You're not the teacher. You are still her mum, and it's trying to balance that. Mum trying to help with schooling, as opposed to take off your mum hat and put on your teacher hat. It's a difficult balance.
Yeah, and I just think the responsibility was what I actually found the hardest. That I kind of panicked a bit to start with, of like, oh, I'm a teacher now.
Yeah.
But what do I do? And if she doesn't progress, that's on me. There's no one. The school sent loads of stuff through, but it wasn't them doing it with her.
No,
so
you felt the weight and that sole responsibility there.
Yeah.
Wow. And again, it wasn't something that you could have prepared for. It was literally within a week.
No.
There you go. You are now the teacher. Yeah. Enjoy.
Yeah, I'm definitely not cut out for homeschooling. I learned that much. I kept seeing posts on Facebook of people saying, "Oh, who's going to continue this after?" Oh, no way. She can go into school and be taught by professionals, and that's fine.
I am done. Mm-hmm. Have the girls, obviously, I'm assuming they've gone back to school then. Are they enjoying that experience going back to school now?
Yeah, I think because Abby had so much time at home, I think she has matured quite a lot in that time and grown up. And I think actually that's really helped in her going back to school. Yeah. And she's really enjoying it. She's really enjoying being with her friends. And even though it's very different, because year one and reception, I think, are very different. She's sitting at a desk now, and and it's different at school anyway than what it was.
But there is always a big step from reception to year one.
Yeah, that's what I've heard people say. But I think she's handled it really well. And even now, like, trying to get, all of a sudden in the past week or so, she's wanted to do colouring, which is not really her. She doesn't have the patience to sit down and colour most of the time, but she's wanted to do stuff like that and to read books, and I can see her wanting to do stuff differently. So
she's always gone back to school in a new rhythm again. Yeah. She's adapted to another new rhythm, and that's remarkable how adaptable children are. I think a lot of the parents I talk to, the children adapted to lockdown relatively quickly, whereas all of us as adults were like, what? We've really struggled.
Yeah, and I think we worry about how they will adapt as well, and actually they just get on with it. Like, we didn't send her back to school when the schools first reopened, even though she could have done, because we were worried how all the different change would affect her then, and like her teacher wasn't there, and there's so many different things. And actually I think she would have been fine. We probably should have just sent her back, but is what it is.
But isn't it remarkable, as you say, kids just have that getting on with it element.
They do.
I love hearing parents saying that, because I think I need to learn a bit of that.
Yeah.
A bit of that.
Yeah.
Well, let's just get on with it. This is today.
Yeah, definitely. It's they don't stop and worry and dwell on it in the same way, do they? Whereas I definitely am a worrier, and I find it hard to pull myself out of that thing sometimes. So I need to just get on with it.
And would you say that weight and that expectation of being, Rachel, the homeschool teacher, was that almost your biggest challenge in lockdown, or was it the rhythm and the working in the evening?
I think it was both. I think it was probably both together.
Yeah.
That it kind of just felt a bit crushing at times, and at least to start with, of how am I going to do this? Like I think we rely a lot on family and friends, and we're so fortunate that we have loads of family around who are really happy to help us, and suddenly when you couldn't have that kind of practical help in the same way, it was a bit daunting. But I think the biggest challenge was just combining everything and never quite feeling like you can switch off.
I think as a lot of us have gone through lockdown over the last 6 months, we have realised, I don't want to say that we've taken maybe our family and friends for granted, but we have suddenly appreciated how much we rely on each other and how much we need each other, maybe in a way to a level that we didn't think it was there before.
Yeah, I think so, definitely.
So obviously you've had an interesting lockdown. It sounds like you've had a very fun time at time with the girls, but also quite a tense time. Have you had any breakthroughs, or have you sensed God being with you over this last 6 months?
Definitely. I think I don't know that there's big amazing breakthrough, but definitely God's been with us the whole time, and I think we can see God in different kind of elements of how we've been as a family, and I think in community and getting to know some neighbours that we just didn't know before. Even our next door neighbour, we'd barely spoken to them before, not because we were ignoring each other, they're busy, we're busy, our paths don't cross that often, even though they're right next door to us, but we actually stopped and really got to know them, and Abby got on really well with their little girl Charlotte, and they just play together, and I think that's a real God opportunity, really. Seeing God moving in different relationships, and other neighbours as well. We're fortunate where we live that there's some people we know, like friends kind of within walking distance, so we'd kind of time our walk or plan our walk around but past various houses and just wave through the window, but having that opportunity to get to know people in a different way.
I love that you say that. I do think there has been opportunity, and God made opportunity through the pandemic. It might not have been this massive shining light breakthrough, but there has been like a little door that's open that God was like, here you go, here's something for you to look at and focus on. Here's an opportunity for you. And it's great that you've spotted them and almost invested some time in them.
Yeah, I think you have to look for those little opportunities, don't you? Because you're always waiting for the big kind of wave of whatever it is. You miss so much stuff, and I think you have to look for God in those small things and in the day-to-day and the changes and I think as well, one of the biggest things is how he's brought us through it, because I think at the start I was panicking of how am I going to do this every day, and actually I can't believe how quickly time has gone, and life's still different, but I think when when she went back to school in September, I kind of, that sigh of relief almost, got a bit emotional, and actually we came through that period, and we're in a different period now, and I think God brought us through that, fairly unscathed. And it was hard at times, but we came through fairly unscathed, and I think that's a real God thing for us.
And I think acknowledge God in that is a fantastic thing. I think sometimes we don't acknowledge God in the simply he got us through, and that's a massive thing. Sometimes God you think at times, how am I going to get through this, and then you come out the other side and you think,
oh, he did it.
He did it.
Yeah.
That's great. And I want to encourage all of you that are at home or wherever you are watching this, look for those little opportunities and look to know that God is getting you through this. He is going to walk with you through this, however long these different seasons are. He will get us through.
I think that's one of the hardest things, is not knowing how long a season is going to be, isn't it? And so knowing that God's there in that with you is probably the sustaining thing, because I always find it's easy to cope with something, or it's easier to cope with something if you know how long it's going to be.
Yeah.
But when there's no end in sight and you don't know when one thing's going to end and what it's going to go to, even at the moment, really, do we?
But I love what you did, in fact, that you acknowledged the end of a season. You had one season with the girls at home, and you acknowledged almost, okay, we're not out of the situation, but the season has changed.
It's different.
To school, and actually it's a different season within this really uncertain time, and we've got to acknowledge those chapters, the end of a chapter within a book. You know, I get the feeling this COVID book may be a little longer than we wanted to, but there will be chapters within it.
Yeah, it's not just one thing the whole way through, is it? It's just not knowing when it's going to change and which way it will go. I guess at the moment we're at a point where it could kind of go either way, or it's heading one way that we don't really want it to go. But
and almost like you can't do anything about the direction it's going other than trying to make those wise choices. But it is acknowledging God's still with us. We can make those choices, and God can lead us into the next chapter, and acknowledging when that happens. So that's a helpful thing to do. I can't believe it's nearly been 20 minutes already. Time just flies by. Do you have any, for anyone watching, do you have any practical advice for them at all? Anything that they could be doing or should be doing, or anything that you think that would help them, or anything really?
I think the thing that's helped me is just looking to God for controlling my thoughts and anxieties, that kind of thing. Because I think, like we're saying, you can't control the situation, but you can control how you respond to it. And I don't always respond in the best way, but I think God can help and almost train us to respond in a better way. So I think that's something that I'm trying to kind of tell myself and work on day by day. And it's not like a one-time thing. I was reading something this morning in a book that I'm reading that it's just a daily kind of habit of giving stuff to God, of giving up those thoughts that aren't helpful and those kind of things, and just every day keeping on it. It's not a one-time thing, it's not an event, it's a daily habit. And also I think what's really important is looking for the connection that you can have with people. I think at the moment that you can't necessarily have the connection you would want or choose to have normally, but there are so many ways that you can connect with people and connect into church. And we haven't been very good at watching the services on a Sunday, because it ended up more stressful than it was worth at times. Small people wanting our attention, and but there's ways to connect in, and through the kids Zooms that we've been doing, and I've been part of a prayer course with some of the ladies the last few weeks, and I know James has come to some of the men's bits that I think it's finding the ways that you can connect in with people and that work for you, and making the most of those opportunities, I think is important, because it's not one way of being part of church really, especially at the moment, is it?
No, and I think it's really quite common on our end to not to accept everyone won't connect into everything. We churn out as much as we do, because we acknowledge you don't have to watch everything or connect into everything, but there may be something that you're able to connect in that works for your system.
And I think that's brilliant, and we're very fortunate that you've been able to do so many different things like that, because I think it does facilitate different kind of engagement, doesn't it?
And the challenge is, and we will be, and we will keep adapting, we will keep developing, we will keep trying to add on new environments or new groups or new things where within the guidelines to try and connect with people more as well. But I think that's brilliant practical advice there, Rachel. Have that rhythm, daily check-in with God, but also connecting where you can in a way that suits you. I think don't feel the pressure to connect everywhere, because we'll all just fall short of that, but find a way of connecting that works for you and doing that. That's a great piece of advice. Thank you. And what can we be praying for you? I mean, if you want us to be praying for anything, what do you want us to be praying for?
I think I'm trying to think how to say it. Like, time together as our family, I think, is now in the new kind of rhythm that for us, just to have that, to find ways of having the time that we had in our new kind of
life
of what it is at the moment, that now everyone's back out at different places, that we can have that connection together that we kind of found before. I think is really important.
And that is the thing, because actually as lockdown is easing, as it were, you've gone back to work, kids have gone back to school, James has gone back to work, and it's very easy, even within this restricted environment, just to fall back and lose some of the gains we've made. And as you say, that family time, that connection has been awesome for you guys, and to try and maintain that in some way, accepting you can't be like it was.
No, exactly.
But it has to be still there in some shape or form.
Yeah.
We can pray for that, and we'll pray for that with
family
space and that connection time. We want a way that refreshes you. We can definitely. Well, I can be doing that, and I'm speaking on behalf of everyone watching it. We will be doing it as well. So thank you.
And I think also I've been conscious recently of trying to find opportunities to connect with others in a missional kind of way, and I guess praying for those kind of opportunities. I'm not sure what they are at the moment, or
no, and I think that's a really wise thing, because you can say, I want to go and reach people, I want to have mission opportunities, and then never know where to start. And actually just praying for those who's around me and who is before me, God, and actually how do I speak with those? I mean, I'm so grateful that we're about to open Just Love at Clementine's, and for me, I spend a lot of time obviously talking to people from Riverside, but I'm getting very excited about the fact I get to be a little bit more in the community, and I'm going to give up some of my hours on a Tuesday to be in the coffee shop, because I want to be having that contact, that mission contact. You need that prayer of discernment of, who is it, God? Who are you laying on my heart? Who do you want me to be walking towards? And I think that's a prayer that we should be praying, not just for you, but for ourselves and for each other as well. Because there is a mission field for all of us. There is a person that God wants us all to reach.
Well, and it wouldn't be right if it was all the same kind of way or the same person, would it? So it's important to find, I guess, as a church, what's our mission field. And I think Just as at Clementine's is the brilliant opportunity at the moment. But personally, just where should we be pushing doors? And
well, we can do that, definitely. But thank you for giving up a half an hour of your work day to chat with us. I really appreciate it, and just know we will be praying. And thank you so much, and give our best to James and the girls, and we'll see you soon.
I will. Take care. Thank you.